this won't be as complete as I want it to be yet, but basically I see strength of ISEC UST in numbers. ISEC UST was still able to engage a lot of people. We also have strength in support because our university offices really love what ISEC's doing. For weakness, I think it's in we do have the numbers, but we lack the quality and the motivation. That's a big weakness. And also knowledge, because we're a new LC and even the VPs of this term need a lot, have a lot to learn. So I think that was a weakness. For opportunities, like I mentioned a while ago, we have the different colleges. We have untapped market. We have untapped alumni. Also our location, given that we're far away from a lot of the other LCs, we can have our own niche, like with communities, like this is our community, this is our turf, those things. For threats, I think it also goes back to the members, how much they really value their academics, and not just that, their academic schedules are really full, which is why a lot of people aren't here now. So that's a big threat. And also the low org culture, because like I said a while ago, people join orgs for the sake of having something on their resume. So we need to, the threat of this will be not getting the members we want, just getting members, period. So,
so you mentioned that one of your goals is to have 30 OGCB realizations, and the basis for this is that you have a huge market of around 40,000 students in the university. In line with this, how do you want to be able to brand ISEC such that it will encourage people and it will provide people the opportunity of going on exchange? And how are you going to sustain this throughout the entire duration of your term, given that most of your realizations will be at the end of your term?
For the branding in each college, like I said, it'll be the result of the early market research we do. And as for sustaining it, I think we plan our summers early anyway. And we can actually tell them, if you plan your summer now, and if we raise your form now, it'll actually be a motivation for you to have a free summer and those things. I think it's also going to be, for the sustaining, it's going to be about raising early also. Because it's okay to have EP forms there for a long time. At least the opportunities keep coming in. It's not so that we're going to raise lang when it's peak na. We're going to raise throughout the term.
Ads and real.
I'm just a little concerned with feasibility every time. Coming from perspective, from a UP perspective, we in the LC, even if we have like a large member base, at least strong members, we're having difficulties to start early on. And you mentioned that one of your weaknesses, you don't have plenty of members to everyone. And based on your timeline, you have a lot going on during March, April, and June to prepare yourself for the start of the term, which is the June chapter, especially ICX. You're going to do racing for ICX and then cycle 1 and 1. And then I noticed that you have a cycle during the 10 season, which is October to November, December. So could you comment on the feasibility of your timeline based on your member capacity and their knowledge on operations?
For the having lots of work early on, a lot of the work, again, is more planning and mind work. It's the GIPP and racing that's going to be hard. For this, I don't really expect all our GIPs to come from that. All our GIP races to come from that period. It's just that I want the process of it to start and at least have one. So I know that when we come into the next term, there are people who know how to do it. And for the, what do you call this? Because early on, I'm going to be relying on the current members, the handful of motivated members that we already have. For the next part, it is very busy. I agree with you. It really is a risk that we won't be able to do this. But this is the goal. This is gonna be where people look to when they don't know what to do. And it may happen or it may not. I'm of course gonna push for it to happen. For the cycle 3 dead period, I've had experience. I'm fine with having a cycle of just 2 or 3. We don't need a super big cycle, man.
Rian, did you have a follow-up? Follow-up.
In case you don't reach your desired state for the earlier part of your timeline, do you have a plan B in mind?
I think we won't reach we might not reach our desired state for ER and ICX. It's really difficult to brace. Plan B would be just to keep doing it. The timeline, as I said, is more of the ideal. Just keep doing it until it happens. But for the others, like even if you don't get to raise GIPT ends yet, I still want the LCPP to be done so that we can still recruit those things. Siguro what's gonna happen lang is stuff are gonna overlap. And for the others, the risk of not being done, I guess it's gonna be the same. It's just gonna extend a bit.
Rian.
So one of the problems that we encountered in OGX was that some colleges were not willing actually to get on partnership with us. Like for example, the College of Education, when we approached them, they said that it's not in their best interest, and it's actually a really big market. So how do you plan to help OGX achieve that, for example? And it's also the other organizations and colleges who are not interested or they're actually very marketable.
Thanks.
Okay. I think a lot of the unwillingness also came because it wasn't the right time to be asking them for a partnership because maybe they're busy with other stuff. That's why I want partnerships to be done when there's also in their planning stage. So, pwede mo silang sabayan. For education, for example, it not being in their best interest, let's assume we did it, even if we did it at the right time, they still don't want. We can go to other avenues like orgs. There are lots of college-based orgs that we can talk to. Actually, there are lots of orgs in each college, and also a lot in university that are university-wide. So there are lots of avenues to have fallback on. But our main goal will be to get the admin involved, yeah, because that's really important. That's gonna automatically get the support of each org. So, there. May fallback naman.
Most of your plans rely heavily on the premise that TL empowerment will happen. And it seems like a very elegant and obvious solution to most of our problems. So could you walk us through how one actually does empower team leaders in an LC?
I think a lot of the empowerment will come from the VPs. That's why I'm hoping the VP applicants that we get are like the ones. And basically, it'll boil down to 4 things. You can empower a TL from personal experiences. This is how I was raised. By first giving them the role. You get a lot of ownership when you give them the role. When you call them director, it's a big thing already, even if it's super minute. And the responsibility. When you give them tasks, they're gonna feel that they're gonna have a contribution to the LC. Other than the responsibility, you have to give them the resources as well to implement the tasks. And recognition. Even if it's not super like giving them an award, just keep telling them, okay, thank you, you're doing a good job. Those things. It is very fluffy, and there is actually a risk of this not being done. That's why we're gonna prepare for some people not being right for TL yet, and we're gonna be prepared with finding another TL who might be right for the position.
Were it those done this year?
Which part?
The 40 things.
The role? No. They were given roles, but they weren't given responsibility nor resources. A lot of them, if you would see the database, a lot of them have leadership roles. But when you ask them, oh, so what have you been doing? house racing, they don't know. Maybe because they lacked follow-up or they lacked knowledge. That's why it's important for you to give them, at the very least, an article on it or the format of it, something like that.
Okay, last question from folks.
So coming from FUA, like regarding PLs, your plans are very PL based, and knowing the realities of our LC that there are some PLs who are actually declining already, not because that they don't want the org. They know what the org is, but the thing is sometimes the org scares them on the things that they have to do. It's like it's too big for them. So knowing that your plan is very EL based and our LLC has like you said, it's true that we have a lot of roles given to our members, which we thought that could motivate our members. But then it somehow failed, right? So how will you be able to actually produce those PLs, knowing that when academics gets on their way, you're gonna be surely defeated with academics. So how will you be able to encourage that PS, and how will you make them realize that this is something? Because compared to the other LCs, like the bigger LCs, and we all know that UST is going for, like, we wanted to go full member, right? And once we go full member, we are expected to do the same. So how will you push your members to be as committed as they are, more than ever in this term? Because we all had a good start. We all know that we all had a good start, and we all had good motivated members, but they were declining towards the end because of the load.
Great stuff.
Okay, I actually know how that feels, to be so stressed with school and with the org. And I also been on the receiving end of, Iris, you're giving me too much work, it's my hell week, I want to quit. I've had that experience in USD. So I think for that, it's gonna be up to what do you call this? It's gonna be up to the VP, for example, to say, okay, maybe we can hold off on this for a while, because I also value academics very much. I want the members to focus on their academics also. So maybe you have to reevaluate also the priorities of your department. Some of them can be moved. Maybe it's not moved just because it's a personal, you want it done now. But you have to reevaluate also which ones can be, you have to be flexible also. And academics, like I said, it will always be a threat. So we want members, we want to accept the members who already have that attitude of doing well in academics, who can manage their time well and all that stuff.
Okay, so we have one very last question.
Very briefly, can you tell us your biggest strength and biggest weakness if ever you'll become an LCP?
I think my biggest strength would be that I've failed a lot. Like, I feel like I've failed in everything I could fail at. But I managed to, because I really don't quit. I hate quitting, I hate quitters. I hate the concept of giving up. So I keep doing it. Even if after I fail, I still manage to find something good in that experience. So that's what I can bring to the LC, my experience. So hopefully it won't be repeated again, or if it is, I'll know how to bounce back. And also, I'm still open to failing some more. I mean, I'm still open to experimenting. And my weakness would be my time as well. I'm in a biology course. thesis is gonna come soon, and my weakness will be time management, which is why while I'm free and while I'm still gonna be interacting with the VPs a lot, I want to transfer everything I know to them as fast as I can. So when there will come a time that I might just I'll tell you, no, it's my hell week. That time will come. I'd want a VP to be able to catch me